Hi everyone! Thank you for coming to our special day.
Yep.
We'd just like to start off with introducing each other. I'd like to introduce my bride-to-be, Emly&Marcel, nickname M, obviously from Bangkok, Thailand.
Here's Marcel, nickname is T, and from Canada.
It started actually 5 years ago, in the beginning of 2010. Actually my very first flight to Bangkok. Pulled out from standby, I walked into the briefing room, and as soon as I saw M come into the room, she caught my eye from the very first moment. Something is different about this girl. Wow, she just has the most amazing smile I've ever seen. And that was our very first flight together, actually. I remember speaking to her at the back of the aircraft throughout the flight when we weren't doing service. And that was the very first memory and the very first time we met.
He's polite, so he's outstanding, and just helped me all the time throughout the flight.
She was traveling with her best friend, Tan.
And our supervisor on that flight is Pinong.
That's right, Pinong, who I'm still very close with today, so it's kind of interesting how things work out.
Right.
We kept in contact through email.
Found it.
So even before we actually flew together, we were doing quite a few layovers and emailing to each other. And eventually there was a period where we lost contact. Eventually one of us, we stopped replying, and
One of us?
I won't say that's Em, but perhaps that was the case.
He always asks me out for coffee.
Which I
Like,
never
"Oh,
received a response.
Yeah, just change the topic because I don't know if he's serious, you know, and I'm not interested to be in a relationship in Doha.
The one memory I have of her friends, and I can't wait to say this, Tao, I know you're in the audience. You gave me one heck of a time. Every time I ask about M, I always get the response from Tao that, you know, she's busy, and Marcel, it's time to move on. Marcel, it's time to give up.
Oh, it's not her fault.
But she's very polite. Actually, I thank her to this day because back then perhaps we weren't actually ready to spend the rest of our life together, and it required some maturing and whatnot. So Tao, as much as I give you a hard time for blocking my way to M, I have to say thank you as well, because you were definitely protecting her over all these years.
Are you saying thank you to her?
In a way. With
Yeah.
love, of course, Tao.
It just happened early this year.
So after all the flights, after talking with her friends many times, there was a period where Em and I, we didn't speak for just over 2 years, if I remember correctly. And after 2 years, I decided it was time that I would give it one last shot. Gave her a phone call, but of course, after 2 years, Em had changed her phone number because she was recently moved back home. But I wouldn't give up, so I phoned Tao again. I asked Tao, I said, Tao, can I please have Em's phone number? And you know, I'll behave, I've matured, I've grown up. I tried to plead my case, but once again, Tao, you were being such a good friend, and you were protecting Em. So I said, at least Tao, let Em know that I'm trying to get a hold of her.
Yeah, and she came to me and asked
she did.
me, and I said, okay, just give your number. And then I changed the number.
I didn't give up. I always had Em's Skype, so I decided, okay, it's time to message her on Skype. And to my amazement, I'm not sure why, but she replied. I was sitting there at my apartment in Doha, and all of a sudden, the Skype rings and Emly is phoning me. And I was quite shocked. My heart starts racing, but before I could think too much, I said I better answer because I probably won't have a second chance after this. And sure enough, answered the call. And Em was actually on vacation in Hue Hin.
ใช่
Yeah.
หัวหิน I don't know what came into my mind. I just called him right away. Just want to surprise him. I know that he's gonna be so excited. And that was the first time I called him.
Shocked more than excited, actually. And that started the whole game with Tao and saying, Tao, I told you so, I would eventually take her out.
And you asked me out for P-Boy concert.
Yeah, that's right. And she agreed.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. She agreed.
I told you I'll take my mom.
That's right. She would bring her mom. But this is actually what started. And I was quite surprised, but something got into Em, and I'm not sure if she saw something different or... But she finally gave me a chance. So I was excited for her to come back from vacation and for my next trip to Bangkok. It became to the end of December, beginning of January, where I came back to Thailand, and Em and we agreed to meet up. So she told me I would bring my friends along, which was to be expected, and I felt, it's the evening, it's in Bangkok, it's a larger city, it's safe, and it's probably a wiser decision on her part. So we agreed to meet, and I was excited but still quite hesitant to see if she would actually arrive, because on numerous occasions where she's promised me, we actually never went out. So eventually we ended up meeting at Siam, so I was just super happy when she actually showed up. And she brought two friends
late,
with her.
Actually.
She was late, but it's part of it, I think. That's part of M.
Oh, excuse me.
Something I've got used to over the last year or so.
Oh.
So anyway, we had light dinner in Siam, and then later we had the kanom, the toast with butter and jam and sweets.
In ข้าวสารมนต์นมสด
Which, by the way, is the first time I've ever been to Khao San. So that just shows you that I would do anything for M.
All of my friends they are all impressed about you. He's quite friendly. He's talkative actually sometimes. Makes my friends happy to see we both together. He's so nice. He opened the door for me. He carry all the bag it's something different, so special. They can see it.
Maybe I can take this opportunity to say thanks to all of M's friends as well for your support and for putting up with somebody new in the group that's not categorized as the norm. So thank you to everyone as well.
Once I brought him to Indie Tree Bar, he just started to talk about the future with me.
So I thought it was a good opportunity to speak about the future, because now that the families, or I've been close with the family and I seem to be accepted, and Em and I are getting closer and closer by the day, and started the topic of marriage in a light sense, so I didn't scare her off running down the street right away.
And when he asked me, I was like, okay, you cannot just tell me like that, you just have to bring your parents because it's Thai tradition.
Yeah, the first part being that my parents should come, if possible, and meet with her mom and dad and have a conversation. My parents were all for it. Yeah, so they immediately said, when would you like us to come? And
yeah, I'm so thankful for them to come. Thank you, mom and dad.
They came to Bangkok and met Em's mom and dad. Yeah, in October, that's right.
They've been to Chiang Mai, and after that we just have a talk.
And when we came back to Bangkok, we only had literally another night left. But as Em's papa had to work, we said, it's crunch time. We have to have the conversation right away. So actually, I think both of us were quite nervous. The first one being the different traditions, and one also being the language barrier. So thanks to Em, we cut the language barrier as much as we could, and I tried to explain it to my parents as well about Thai tradition. And then, of course, my parents brought up the Western tradition. At the end of the day, I think we did pretty good, but we were definitely nervous at the beginning, but thankful for when everybody agreed and we had an approval from both sides.
It was quite nervous.
Yeah, it was.
Shaking actually.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, please sit down on the floor.
Chai. Once Em and we decided that it was time to get married. The Thai tradition is to go visit the fortune teller at the Chinese temple. Mama, she was kind enough to schedule the appointment. We met Ago, which is the Chinese fortune teller. Told her who we are. I had to say my name and my birthday, and to my surprise, after saying very little to this fortune teller, Ago came back and told me about my life and told me about what's going on. And although we don't always believe in it, it's important to note when you love somebody, you really start to believe yourself. So it was a 3-hour conversation, and it was by all means not easy. The first hour, I remember Em's hands are shaking on the table. My heart is beating as if it's going to jump out of my chest. But once Ago gave the approval and said
grab
it was...
the pen.
Yeah.
And here's the paper. And write down the date. And she say 18 of March.
And we look at each other thinking...
Year
which
is
year?
that? She said next year. I was like
2015.
yeah, taking some time for me to count like P, it's 4 months.
4 months. And I said, I know Em, I can count as well. So Wednesday, March 18th, 2015, or 2558.
Yeah, and you're here.
Today.
Yeah.
Typical Western tradition for, I think, anybody that doesn't know is I should ask the bride and get down on one knee, but that wasn't Thai tradition, so I said okay.
No. I didn't say that it's not Thai tradition. Today he's still not asking for my permission. Never.
To my defense, I figure that's Western tradition.
Oh.
And if Em didn't agree, she wouldn't be planning the wedding. Which she's doing a fantastic job
It's
at.
4 months, so I have to start. Right? What can I do?
Try. So if I were to propose to you, then what would you say?
You didn't do that.
Oh.
You haven't done that.
Well,
so
I guess we'll
wouldn't
have to
say
wait for the
anything.
future. If she appears on March 18th, if you guys are watching this video, I would assume that all is okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Em, I have a special message for you for our wedding day. I'm so excited this day has finally come. I can't wait for it. In fact, when I give you this message, I still have to wait for another three and a half months. But I think it'll go very quick because we have the Christmas vacation and we have a lot of planning to do. So I can't wait. This is something that I've looked forward to all my life, to finally fall in love and spend the rest of my life with a young lady that I truly love from the bottom of my heart. And 5 years ago when I met you, I will never forget that feeling inside the briefing room. It's something that's been very difficult to put into words, but it's your smile, it's the way we look at each other. Em, I love you with all my heart, and it's something that I'm just so happy that's going to be for the future. I know we have so many opportunities, and we have a lot to plan for. Relocating to Doha, eventually settling down in Canada before coming back to Thailand. I know not every day will be as exciting and happy as today. I know there'll be struggles along the way, and there'll be ups and downs, but we've pulled through it before, and I think it'll only bring us closer together. So whatever life brings us in regards to challenges, I know we can face it, I know we can get through it, and we'll be stronger in the end. So my promise to you is to stick through it through thick and thin, and I know we have one exciting life to come together. I hope to have the family with you one day. Perhaps Ago has suggested 3 children. I'm hoping for only 1 or 2, but that's something to discuss for the future. So from the bottom of my heart, Em, I just like to say thank you very much for giving me the chance 1 year ago, continuation from what started 5 years ago. So thank you for everything you've been to me so far, and I can't wait till tomorrow and the future to come.
จริงมันเป็นเรื่องที่แบบแปลกและประหลาดมากตรงที่แบบก่อนที่เขาเข้ามาคุยกับเราอะไรเงี้ยก่อนหน้านี้ไม่เคยคิดเรื่องแต่งงานไม่คิดเรื่องว่าจะแบบว่าคบใครแบบว่าจริงจังอยู่ๆเราก็แบบขอพระอ่ะขอให้เจอคนดีๆอะไรเงี้ยขอทุกอย่างบอกระบุคุณสมบัติทุกอย่างที่เราต้องการอะไรเงี้ยบอกไปหมดเลยบอกว่าแบบอยากเจอคนที่ดีคนที่ใช่อะไรเงี้ยคนที่แบบที่เราจะได้แบบใช้ชีวิตอยู่ด้วยมันไม่รู้มันเป็นอะไรคือแบบไม่เคยขอมาก่อนไม่เคยคิดว่าแบบว่าจะได้เจอคนที่แบบ ดูแลเราได้อะไรเงี้ยพอเอาสิ่งที่ขอไปพูดกับเพื่อนเพื่อนบอกว่านี่เอ็กซ์พอร์ตมาจากสวรรค์หรือเปล่าอะไรอย่างเงี้ยสุดท้ายแล้วเขาก็เข้ามาตอนแรกก็ไม่ได้คิดว่าเป็นเขาหรอกก็คุยแล้วก็แบบค่อยๆใช้เวลาคุยกับเขารู้จักเขาเรียนรู้เขาทำให้เรายิ่งกลับไปที่คำที่เราขอมันคือใช่ทุกอย่างเลยอะไรเงี้ยเขาเป็นคนดีเขาแบบคือใช่ที่เราต้องการหมดแล้วเราก็ขอด้วยว่าหน้าตาน่ารักหน้าตาดีคือขอหมดเลยแบบว่าเป็นคนแบบมีมารยาทดีแล้วก็ ศีลเสมอกันอะไรเงี้ยคนแบบที่เราขอมันหายากมากๆมากๆมากๆมากๆพอเจอเขาเราก็รู้สึกว่าแบบมันใช่ดราม่าเขาคือคนที่ดีที่สุดในชีวิตเราแล้วอะไรเงี้ยที่เขาจะดูแลเราได้แล้วก็เราก็จะแบบคอยดูแลเขาอะไรเงี้ยรู้สึกว่าโชคดีที่มีเขาแบบว่าเข้ามาแล้วก็รู้สึกขอบคุณทุกอย่างที่เขาทำเลยมันสะท้อนถึงจิตใจเขาว่าเขาคิดถึงคือเขาใส่ใจเราหมดทุกอย่างแบบว่าเขาฟังเราที่เราพูดรู้สึกขอบคุณเขารู้สึกว่าโชคดีที่มีเขาอยู่เขาไม่ใช่คนที่หาได้ง่ายๆไม่มีมาเซลคนที่สอง ก็คือจะไม่มีทางที่แบบว่าปล่อยให้เขาหลุดมือไปแน่นอนก็ยังไงก็คือแบบจะคอยดูแลแล้วก็จะรักให้ดีที่สุดละกัน